7,000 lines are read. Soul inside your bubble time, racing tonight. Intervals divided, one heavily as a time. Would you know the life we had, and still we live electrica? It was always electrica. It was always electrica. It was always electrica. It's like a perception's garden, fractal harmonic diction, slowly giving rise to our carnival. We got so far, a reservation, guest stars. Never mind this old honeymoon, we can make some more. Make yourself some beautiful subtle energies. I told you once. You've known this forever. It was always electrica. It was always electrica. It was always electrica. It was always electrica. Do that pushing boogie. What up, y'all? Of course. It's gonna clear up in a second, though. You'll see this beautiful moon. Let me just adjust it. What's up, space fan? How y'all doing? Be right there. Anyway, I know it's going to clear up, so hopping on late night before full, I think we're full tomorrow, and I figured if the weather sucks, I may as well get on tonight. Of course, plagued with clouds and internet woes, but bear with me, I think it'll work out okay. I see Astralis, Ryan, West Brooklyn. What's going on, friends? Alright, so let me adjust this image here, put some tunes. Like, it is very hot. 1 a.m. coming at you, East Coast. Another show. What is it, April 22nd today. Happy 420 that just passed. Happy Bitcoin halving for those who observed. And, yeah, there you go. Pretty Luna. So sitting here on the porch, feeling like, alright, maybe I'll get the energy to set up the scope, because it was really just an epic shot here. Yeah, let me know if you can hear me okay in the chat. Probably hear me literally dripping sweat, but we're all set up here, looking sharp. So bright, right, Astralis? Yeah, I didn't even have a thumbnail or anything. I just like, alright, I'm going to set up the scope, and if I have energy, I'm going to go live. and I went live. So we're gonna jam with Luna. I was just watching Pierre Marie Robitaille's video and some Demystify Science stuff. They came back from they were talking about all their Eclipse adventures. And what else did I see? I just saw Ev Cochran's video on Thunderbolts Project, talking about him and David Talbot and Wal Thornhill. Rest in peace, Wal. Alright, we're good. So, yeah. So 420 just passed, and the whole Bitcoin halving happened. That was very interesting. We're coming up on this full moon, so there's this kind of recursive fractal going on with all world events, human culture, moon cycles, markets, all coalescing. I had a lot to talk about. I always do, but let's just settle in here, play a few tunes, get the vibe going. Let me know how you're doing in the chat, how you're feeling tonight. I see Joey. What's up, Texas? Sitting with Sarah. Awesome, awesome. Welcome. So let's pull up a song here. Yeah, the Eclipse stream was really fun. I watched it back, and then I watched all these different videos. People got some absolutely incredible shots. I kind of feel a little bit like, gosh, I wish I'd gone and seen totality, but definitely was a lot more, I guess, was a lot of fun just streaming together here. Alright, let's go with some Dark Realms. I can feel like the way I can feel like the waves. I can feel. We're settling in all right. So cool. Look at this sharp Luna. Top right corner, Mari Crucium. It's been a while since I've gone through all the names, but of course, it always comes back to me. Mari Crucium, top right, like 2 o'clock. 3 o'clock, you got Mari Marginis and Mari Undarum. Next to that, Mare Fecunditatis, or the Sea of Fecundity, or Fertility. To the left of Sea of Crises, Mare Crisium, you got Tranquility, the kind of dark blue gray area, and above that, Serenity. You make your way to the left, you got Mare Imbrium at the top left, Sinus Iridum, Sinus Iridum, and then Aristarchus glowing brightly. Aristarchus Plateau, Herodotus, Copernicus, Kepler, and then at the very bottom, of course, we got Tycho glowing very brightly, Tycho. So yeah, incredible views. It's been a while since we've gotten this sharpness, shippity sharp, this kind of late night energy. That is funky good. Thanks, Los. Joey, take care. Ryan, not sure if that'll happen. I haven't really been following that narrative necessarily. Excuse me. Hell yeah, Astralis, I know that you're paying attention. Yeah, we'll see. There's some nice price action tonight. Excuse me. Alright, so what I want to talk about, there was so much to talk about. There's always so much to talk about, but I guess what I keep thinking is I listen to Rupert. Rupert's making a lot of videos, Rupert Sheldrake, and it's always nice to highlight what he talks about, even though he's one of the few people that actually talks about anything really specific. But, he's getting older, and he's always been a little bit on the, I don't want to say on the softer side, which I like about him, that he's very gentle, but, I think he's been just jeered and mocked and banned and all these things, and he has kind of, not a chip on his shoulder, but maybe he feels a little hesitant to say anything very, I guess, concrete or insistent at this point in his career. He just wants to open people's minds to the idea that there are morphic fields and morphic resonance. So it makes sense as to his demeanor, especially him and Mark Vernon when they do their dialogues. So the thing is, somebody like Rupert Sheldrake is one of the few people that has really talked about this idea of consciousness being actually in a plasma field around the body, around objects. He's talked about this idea that the sun and planets are conscious, this idea of panpsychism. He's talked about the idea of telepathy and how that might actually work with physics. And recently he even talked about something that I love to talk about, which is how the eyes work, or how optics works. Because it's one of those really obvious topics, but nobody really has any sense of it. It's not one of those things that's very common, even though it is one of the very common things about us. So everybody sees with their eyes, yet they don't really ever consider who made those eyes, how they came to be, how there are two of them, and how they see. And furthermore, how what role the eyes play in seeing. So I've talked about this a lot, but it really is one of those ideas that just never comes up in science podcasts, never comes up in books. Just, we always are a bucket that captures rays of light and things happen to us. And there's never really a role for humans or eyeballs to play in the dance of creation. So it's always something that I consider, but the point that I was trying to make is that Rupert Sheldrake, who I talk about a lot, was chatting with Mark Vernon and did bring this up. He said, it's a very simple question, but how do we see? And I said, hell yeah, this is, at least there's somebody out there. I mean, and then I think about it, I think that a lot of the stuff that I've talked about comes from Rupert Sheldrake. So I shouldn't be surprised that he is bringing up these great questions, but I think for me that is one of the big fundamentals, is how do humans see? And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. But let's hop in here and say, Rune Thorson, what's going on? Interesting quote. What role the eyes play in seeing. Isolated, that seems like satire. I know, I was trying to, I'm not like really trying to be all erudite and poetic, it's just coming out that way, but I think y'all know that this is something I think about a lot. Because I think about like these these grand questions. You always see thumbnails of what happened a trillionth of a second after the Big Bang, or has NASA discovered Earth-like planets, in the TRAPPIST system? And then I think, why are these the big questions and not how do human eyes see? Because I think about it, it's this very strange phenomenon where it's really fundamental. I mean, you could take any type of sense, right? You could take taste or touch or smell, but let's just take the eyes, for example, and how they work. Most people have no idea. Let's see. Yeah, so that's one of them. So how do the eyes work? And instead of beating around the bush or beating around the eyeball, imagine the eye has its own auric resonance field, its own toroidal energy field. And the eye transmutated electrical energy or radiance or auric plasma or soul or electricity from the ether, electricity from the body, into this very pinpoint laser almost coming out of our eyes. When they come out together, we create this cross, I guess we're crossing the streams, so to speak, of our two eyeballs, and they connect right in the center, our focal point. So we have this binocular vision, which is absolutely profound. It requires our eyeballs to be a certain way. It requires our eyeballs to have an intelligence. It requires, typically it requires two eyeballs, but one eyeball works. And so on and so forth. These I know it sounds very silly, but it's very basic concepts about the eye and about seeing that seem to be the most profound questions that are never asked. Yet the most profound sounding questions seem the most ridiculous and superficial. Like, who cares really what happened a trillionth of a second after the Big Bang when you don't know how the eyes came to be or how they work? So, let's see. Astralis Ren says, I'm not sure, but I did hear someone just say we need to go back to rods. We need to go back to rods into of cones. Sorry, it's also like late and I'm bleary-eyed. So forgive me, I'm reading like a moron. Hold on, let's see. Astralis says, I'm not sure, but I did just hear someone say we need to go back to rods into of cones. And I was like, brother, what? So it's interesting. Plus I've seen extra things in between. Which eye? Okay, I see what you mean. So interdimensional seeing, the fact that I attribute that to the fact that here. So my idea is that there's this recursive fractal that happens. How are there 8 billion or however many billion people there are on Earth, and yet and we all look almost exactly the same and function exactly the same, but there's this vibrational frequency that changes from person to person, which gives, not just person, from every unique point of energy in our system, a signature. That signature allows us to essentially have a body that looks almost identical and yet have an entirely different experience and have slightly different eyeballs, slightly different legs, slightly different hair, just by a slight resonant frequency. But the relation, the contrast to that is that we, of course, all look the same. Everything is in the same place, mostly, and that's a phenomenon that is also never really talked about in terms of the big questions. Like, how are there 8 billion people that look almost identical, yet they change, the little changes in them give them entirely unique perspectives on existence. Oh, so to talk about Astralis, you're talking about the rods and cones. So the rods and cones in the back of the eye are kind of also, in my opinion, like a recursive fractal of ones and zeros and primitive geometry. I think what happens is we have this kind of array. It's almost like a Bayer array, like a camera array of rods and cones at the back of the eye that processes the data. Let me just adjust this this view for a second. Get get some cloudy clouds. There we go. Nerding out on a Sunday. Actually, it's Monday. That's pretty. So the rods and cones, yeah, there's something interesting about it. Like, I don't know, when I first started the channel, I was looking into that. And it's funny you say witches, because there's this whole idea of broomsticks almost looking a lot like the rods and cones, and the witch's hat, the pointy hat, cone heads. There are all these different connected ideas. I used to think it was this kind of nefarious, sinister thing, but ultimately it turns out that it's really more of a fractal thing, at least in my opinion. So the rods and cones and the chemistry and the biology and of course the physics behind how the eyes work is this profound cascade of biological technology, right? The sugars and the peptides releasing certain types of discharges to cascade through the rods and cones, through the optic nerve. But then, when I looked into that, I could obviously try and regurgitate a lot of the stuff, and then I thought, how might we think about optics from an etheric plasma bubble perspective, from a co-creation, a quantum entanglement situation where what's going on when the image is flipped, quote unquote, so to speak? What's really happening at the iris when light enters the eye? And what happens if you actually allow the eye to emit energy or photonic radiation or human soul radiation or electrical energy from the center of the eye, and that focuses in and quantum entangles with our etheric field? Is that dance of energy something more closer to consciousness? Is that what we perceive as matter? The dance between the radiance of our spirit, of our soul, of our body, like in physics, not just metaphysics, but physically, energetic field, resonating with the entire field, creating moment to moment photonic matter as we see it. And therefore, if you think about, actually let me just adjust this image back and forth like old times. Whoa, some lightning in the distance. It's wild. It's wild. Just reading the comments here, excuse me. Let's see. Astralis is talking about some Hollow Earth stuff. I've looked into that too. It is interesting to think about Hollow Earth like being inside of the inner crust, and everything is, curving upwards away from you. But it doesn't really make more sense than the fact that we're outside, like hair on an arm, Because everything is layered. It seems like if you imagine that from the core of every planet, from the core of every chakra, from the core of every star, the density is the most intense at the center. If you imagine the center of an apple, or the center of your chest, or your brain, or your heart, that's the most intense wind-up or point. And as it radiates outwards in layers, it gets more and more diffuse. So if you imagine the core of planets, or the seeds of an apple, are the most dense, they're the most dense matter. They break, they shatter. And then as you go outwards, it gets more and more malleable, permeable, fungible, like the apple flesh, or like the layers of earth, or the layers of skin around the bone. And then as you go out, you get even more permeable skin, and even more thin skin around the apple flesh, and around the Earth you get the Van Allen radiation belts, or just the radiation belts of Earth. I think we should stop calling them Van Allen radiation belts. I was thinking that. I was like, why do we have to do this? Oh, we're just like, let's talk about science and let's include some random old name. It's just the Earth's radiation torus of energy. And so as you get further away from the layers, you get more and more diffuse. Ultimately, you get to what we perceive as what we perceive of as air or space around our body that's invisible, but it's still field. It's still part of the radiative process of the center core. So, seed of an apple, the kind of more like the harder part that's a little more sugary, a little more that's close to the seeds, and then as you get further and further away from the seeds, you get this kind of juicier and juicier flesh that's easier to eat, and then you get this very thin skin that protects it, and it fractally looks like the sun and the solar system and the Oort cloud, and it looks like our universe. If you zoom out, it looks like an atom. Of course, in this, you have the atomic structure, the nucleus, and the atomic shells, and then you have the perimeter of the atomic structure. And this is what people are using to determine, these quantum states. So the tie-in is that you want to bring in everything together, but there has to be some sort of middle ground where you can't start with a problem. You have to start with where you want to get to and work that way. And I feel like science just, I've lamented it enough, but it definitely starts with all these very obtuse and irrelevant questions and premises that most people don't really find interesting. Let me just adjust this once again. Oh, now it's super duper cloudy. Bryn Thorson says the eye is also one of the major points for intelligent design. Well, if I were to segue that into who creates the human body, and if you think about it, when you're a child, when you're an infant, you have to, somebody, someone, something, the universe, or you, or a disembodied entity, or a deity, has to take your body from small size to large size. And before that, some entity, deity, your parents, chance, nothingness, or the self has to put all the organs in the right place so they work. So if you imagine that all these massive events in a human body's life, so to speak, there is a controller, right? There is an intelligent controller. But it seems more that there's, in public debates about intelligent design and alien interference or whatever it may be, in terms of humans being a certain type of intelligence that required a higher intelligence to manifest. You have to imagine that humans are already that high level of intelligence by virtue of the processes of the human body. So putting the organs in the right place, growing the body, dying the body, seeing, touching, sensing, digesting, etc., etc., and then, of course, creating the entire world with the energy radiating from your own body. You can attribute that to a god. You can attribute that to an organization, or you could consider that the self does all that work. The self brings itself into being. The self, as in you, as in me, as in physically, not metaphysically, as in actually, as in who grows the bones in your body. Your bones grow themselves? Or does a disembodied entity or a deity? Or do you, fine human, grow your own bones. What's up, Fantasy? I see you in the chat, brother. What's happening? Great to see you. Frederick Fogg, what's going on? Hello from the mountains of North Carolina. Cheers, cheers, cheers. I'm happy to be here when I can. So I was sitting on the porch tonight. I don't know, I've been really busy with everything, with work mostly. I wanted to stream earlier this moon cycle, but it's also been very far west. And last night it was actually in view and I was extremely tired. Then tonight I sat on the porch and I thought, oh wow, it's really phenomenally beautiful. It's very late. And do I have the energy? Don't I have the energy? And here I am. Question answered. I couldn't stay away because the moon is looking perfect. I figured we're going to see something magical, whether or not it's just Luna or some flybys or just talking about some wild stuff. So yeah, I've been talking about optics. I've been talking about God complex. People, you know, have their own opinion of what God is, who God is, when God is, but if you just take the concept of what a God is, which is to take and give life, humans can do that. To create amazing things, humans can do that. Songs, machinery, I'm blanking, food, etc., cars, movies, just humans create the most amazing things. The narrative says humans are pretty lame and aliens wouldn't want to visit us and we're so weak and pathetic, but we're a cancer on Earth. But actually humans are extremely powerful. We take life, create life. We're massively successful on Earth. Many of us love Earth and understand our place on Earth in the solar system. So not everybody is terrible. And yeah, I think there's a completely different story if you re-empower the human self from a very physical and I don't want to say non-metaphysical, but you know, it's not this spiritual enlightenment thing. It's of course some spiritual enlightenment, but that comes from finding some proof that you can really hold on to. I think that's what did it for me in terms of when I found Electric Universe with Thunderbolt's project. A lot of doors opened up, but that wasn't the full answer. Just saying everything is electric sounds cool, but isn't the answer to everything. I had to add Alan Watts talking about Zen Buddhism and the contrasts of life. And you have to add in Rupert Sheldrake talking about telepathy and morphic resonance. And you have to add in Sky Scholar and Pierre-Marie Robitaille. And you have to add in Eric Lerner and Theoria Apophysis, Ken Wheeler, and all these different theories. Even all the theories that I consider not to be physically correct, you have to know all the conspiracy theories too to kind of really test the metal. So you end up at this place where you start to realize, you're like, wait, the self does so much. The self can make the self can grow the self knows where to put organs and eyeballs, and then it knows how to kind of rot and ripen the self. You know, so if you imagine a baby to an adult to a kind of curled up corpse, we basically blossom and rot. And it's this beautiful fractal, this recursive fractal that we're a part of. Miguel, hola amigo. I can't sleep, so I'm here. This is the Night Owl stream for the OGs. Look at this Luna, though. Can you imagine us without this moon? Look at that. Some wonderful Terminator craterage on the left side. You can see all the way down from Aristarchus on the left. I want to say that's Grimaldi and Schickard. I could be wrong. No, I think I'm right. So yeah, let me know what you think about that. To wrap it up is this idea that let's take away the idea that, I was answering the idea about intelligent design. That's what it is. People don't like intelligent design because it attributes order to the universe, where science and philosophy requires chaos to exist. So of course they don't want an ordered universe from the start. And the thing is, the religious side of it, in my opinion, wants it to be too ordered, to the point where it's like that and it can never be different. And I think, like every good thing, there's a healthy balance. So if you take some of the order and the chaos, you get closer to what I think is our reality. And then you start to see it in terms of the structure, which is an atomic structure, or a human body against its field, or the Earth against its field, and the Sun against its field. And you know up and down every scale of this fractal universe that we live in, and this fractal universe we live in, this fractal universe we live in, that yeah, you understand physically what the structure is of the etheric field around the body, around the self, around the point. This is the invisible matrix that is implied in the movies The Matrix, but is not really ever it's actually shown. The code around the agents in that scene is, for lack of a better term, the etheric code-based simulated holographic reality field. It's the counter space, or the counter shape, around the objects that we see as matter. They're antimatter or counter matter. How does matter arise? If you imagine that the entire thing is matter, unified matter, and that you have matter collapsing on itself, creating matter within a field of antimatter. And then that's where Dan Winter comes into play, where he explains this collapsing structure, which is entropic, negative entropy, inside a field of entropy. So the collapsing of chaos into order gives us points of light, which we perceive as matter. And so on and on and on. Of course, it sounds very complicated, but to me, it's, as the years go by, it gets more and more clean and simple to understand the place that we inhabit in this universe. Even if it's a multiverse, it's fine. But yeah, that's a take. So intelligent design. So if you take away the fact that it's got to be an external God, and you make it an implied self-God, then you might have an intelligent designer, but you are the intelligent designer. The self is. Therefore, you can start from there and start questioning a higher level of, I think, philosophy and metaphysics and physics all combined into one. I think we ask these questions about the Big Bang that no one really would be satisfied with. Let's say you could figure out what elements or what light did, so to speak, a trillionth of a second after the Big Bang. Besides getting some sort of prize and some sort of grant, no average person would find that useful information. But how the eyes work, and whether or not you were the intelligent designer of your own existence, I think that's valuable to each individual if they really heard that. They can make up their own minds, but I imagine that that's the type of science that I would like to hear. So that's probably why it's the science that I espouse. Anyway, might be time for a little track here, a little tracky track, and a little smoky smoke. Desert Fires. Thanks for hanging out, y'all. Great to see ya.
Though life is rough, no mystery or love. In between our records, we found light had turned to dust. Oh, shocking on the beach, and we knew just what to say. And now I feel the echoes all along the electric vein. It's so inspiring. Oh, it's nothing like a thought it though. Take
Hell yeah. Happened to say what's up to Copper Trops. Great to see you, old friend. OG Space Familia. Hope you're doing great. Anyone else joined that I missed? Rune Thorson says, religion is and always was a control power structure. Too ordered, perhaps. We'll think about that. Yeah, I think our religions and science is kind of a polar configuration, right? You have North and South Pole, you have electrical poles, you have scientific and religious poles, you have political poles, different types of poles, but you know what I'm saying. We really have this kind of polar gradiated universe, so extreme ends and everybody in between. And if you take it like that in terms of the point center of the atom to the shells, the human to the biofield, Earth to the field, etc., the gradation starts at the point at the center of the Z-pinch, or the plasma pinch, or the center of the chakra, or the heart, or the brain, or the center of the nucleus, or the black hole at the center of the Planck unit, and the gradation goes outwards from there. So that's how you have your two polar ends by the extremities of the energy emitted from the center of the point. Or at least that's what I think. That's what I think. Let's adjust this Luna right here. Get some sharpness. Running on the 8 tonight. Like that. Actually, why don't we do just a couple minutes of this, and then maybe I'll do some zoomed in shots. The dank side of the moon truly is the show. With y'all is the dankest side. Alright, let us figure out what song is next here. Shoutouts to everybody who's not here. This is dedicated to you.
Now you're here, let me kiss you. Did you hear that I missed you? Now you're here, let me taste you. Did you hear that I missed you? Now you're here, let me taste you. Did you hear that I missed you? Now you're here. Did you hear that I missed you? Now you're here, let me taste you. Let me taste you. Underneath the stars, counting numbers. Fly above the moon, feel you new. To the dark beyond, saw your umbra. Across the nature zone, so electric blue. Underneath the stars, did you hear that I missed you? Fly above the moon. Now you're here, let me kiss you. Did you hear that I missed you? Beyond. Now you're here, let me kiss you. Nature zone. Did you hear that I missed you? Underneath the stars. Take time to believe in the world, fill it up with everything you can afford. Take time to believe in the world, fill it up with everyone you love. Take time to believe in the world, fill it up with everyone you care for. Take time to believe in the world, fill it up with everyone you love. Underneath the stars, did you hear that I missed you? Fly above the moon. Now you're here, let me kiss you. Did you hear that I missed you? Beyond. Now you're here, let me kiss you. Nature zone. Did you hear that I missed you? Underneath the stars. Memories of you, always gonna run in line. Don't starlight kind, moonlight shrine, or right side, or light tone, privilege ships in night's crown, fire like trees, chill like smoke, sign a hall inside shell. Where are every life you come along, locking right in. Oh, every night it comes about, knocking right in. Oh, every life you come along, we'll fit right in. What you say to life completed, don't you sound conceited. This song is all a spiral. All I know is everything we think is say to life completed. I know I sound fear but yourself. Apparitions that we bleed through. Every fear you're open wide, soul modulation. You just come feel this ride so high, your love I'm craving. But I can't see it till you just bring me back. Oh, bring me back out of the cold. Just bring me back. Feel your open wide soul modulation. Just feel this ride so high, your love I'm craving. Just can't see it till you just bring me back. Just bring me back out of the cold. You know, bring me back. It's not a need. I feel the beating of the soul inside of me. Inside
All right, 2 a.m., 2:02, hopping back in here. Yeah, we got wave upon wave of clouds. It's hard, I've just been going back and forth. But gorgeous nonetheless, nothing to complain about. Astralis thanks, says, hey, thanks for making this da 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 song. This one, this last one, da 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 da. Thank you for saying that. All right, I'm getting sleepy, but we're going for a bit. I don't care. So if I sound delirious or whatever, you know, bear with me. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, I was talking about Schubert Sheldrake, Schmoopert Schmeldrake, and sorry, I'm just joking. Rupert Sheldrake. Amazing man. And how he is the closest to anyone I've heard actually talk about, you know, how the eyes work, how telepathy might work, how memory works. And it's just crazy how that's one of those ideas that never comes up when it comes to big questions. Never comes up with somebody like Donald Hoffman or Michael C. Levin or Bernardo Kastrup or any number of people, or close to, what is it? Close to the edge? Close to physics? I forget what it is. I just unsubscribed. But, you know, these kind of channels that strive to figure out the theory of everything. They never talk about Rupert Sheldrake, Alan Watts. They never talk about Electric Universe. They never talk about Sky Scholar. And it's one of these really crazy things that I've talked about a lot, but how nobody does research. People do a lot of research on their own thing, let's say, but they don't want to do research and look at other videos that exist online. And some channels are really obscure. I'll get, like, for example, Jeffrey Walensky with the stellar metamorphosis idea, which I think pretty much is one of the most groundbreaking things I've ever heard. And he has 785 subscribers. I think NGC is one of them. But yeah, nobody knows Jeffrey Walensky. His channel may as well not really exist, but I think stellar metamorphosis, the idea that planets are like humans, stars basically are like humans, and planets are stars at a certain point in the life cycle. So instead of stars being one thing and planets being another thing, planets are the core remnants of stars. So stars that we see, like the sun, are one thing, are the same thing in different stages of life. So, for example, if you saw an adult and a baby, you wouldn't think they were two different things just because they were an adult and a baby. And he presents this idea that we can understand our solar system and space and a lot of things a lot more clearly if we consider that it's possible that Earth used to be, or is, the center of an old star. That's a massive idea, absolutely massive idea, and yet, like, nobody talks about it. Not Thunderbolt's project, even Demystify Science, who actually know about Jeffrey and who've talked to Jeffrey, literally don't dedicate an entire, like, month to just looking into stellar metamorphosis, because why? There are other topics that are more interesting than that? I don't know. I don't believe it. Let me adjust this. I think we got some clarity. Oh my god, it's so gorgeous. Have I said gorgeous enough? Gorgeous. Freaking gorgeous. I think we should continue with our zoomed in tour. Wow. It's freaking spectacular over here. Doo-doo-doo. Let me know in the chat if you checked out Jeffrey's channel, Jeffrey Walensky. Alright, Copernicus, and I was going to check out Aristarchus. We haven't seen Aristarchus in such a long time. There we go. Some very nice visibility. How's that? That's pretty good. It's pretty sweet. Yeah. Whew. So you can really see, so there's obviously Aristarchus Plateau, which is the diamond shape, the baseball field, and at the bottom, the very bright white crater, that's Aristarchus crater. To the left you got Herodotus, which is the flat kind of snake head, and then the Snaking Canyon, which is referenced a lot by both camps. You know, public space, NASA talks about it being volcanic lava tubes, but no one wants to go in there and explore, and they can't really explain anymore beyond, you know, this idea that it potentially is lava tubes from the volcano, which is either Aristarchus crater or Herodotus. So let's say, let's say it's not that. Let's say Electric Universe says that this is electric scarification, which is kind of more interesting idea, I think. And yeah, definitely one of my favorite, I think possibly my favorite feature on the moon, and one that captured me the first time I looked at the moon. I was like, this is just unbelievable. How do we not talk about this feature of the moon constantly? Why is it not, like, brought up at every science conference in great detail with a live shot or a close-up shot, and, you know, discussing how this feature came to be? This seems to me like one of those big questions that no one likes to talk about. What's going on, Tetrapodum? Great to see you. So let me just adjust this one moment. Yeah, it's wild. There's some lightning going on in the background. All the way in the distance. That's what Florida is. Somewhat wilderness. But yeah, Aristarchus, incredible. The shape of it, the diamond, is just one of those features that you can just really hang your hat on in terms of, if you want proof of geometric symmetry and perfection and sharp corners of geometry in nature, or at least derived, emanating from nature. Here's a perfect example of, you have dendritic fractals or dendritic ridges in the shape of Schroeder's Valley. I didn't even call it that, right? I didn't say it. Vallis Scroteri, or Schroeder's Valley. That's the little snake right in the middle, which we can't see perfectly, but it actually forks off into kind of, if you look at your hand and you see the little dendritic ridges, these look very similar. So you have very strong electrical features, whether or not it's made from electrical scarification or from volcanic lava tubes. You still have this recursive structure that is not really explained in terms of beyond saying, funny coincidence, the human eye looks like a nebula. Okay, moving on. Nobody stops there and says, well, how come the human eye looks like a nebula, looks like an apple, looks like a torus, looks like, ancient Egyptian symbols, looks like craters on the moon, looks like so on and so forth. Nobody follows up with that. So that's what I'm here for. Woo, I see NGC finally made it. Heck yeah. NGC, that was Bring Me Back, I think, right? The end of Bring Me Back. A little chant. Da, 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 da. Alright, it's late, I'm delirious, but we got the crystal view of Luna, so we're gonna see, like no one's ever seen. Let's creep on over. Let me know if you have any thoughts or questions on Aristarchus. I love Aristarchus. So coming into view, we got Sinus Iridum, NGC. I hope you're doing great. I'm so happy you're here. Like all of you. So what was I saying? I was saying, Jeffrey Walensky, Stellar Metamorphosis. Nobody says anything about that. Like, I guess I'm whining or complaining when I say something like Demystify Science should have Jeffrey Walensky on for like 3 freaking hours, right? And then should have like a follow-up show. The fact that doesn't happen, like, is it boggles the mind. And same thing with the fact that Pierre-Marie Robitaille, who's clearly brilliant and clearly like a nice guy, right, who hangs out with Demystify Science, just doesn't entertain Jeffrey's ideas at all. Like, doesn't even respond to him in the comments. It's really odd. It's really so odd. Like, am I insane? Because like that's the stuff that I notice. I'm like, how come they don't, like, for example, a lot of people don't know that Ken Wheeler, a Theoria Apophysis, actually used to comment on Thunderbolt's project videos. That's the wild stuff. Like, I dug back years ago and I found, Suspicious Observers, Ken Wheeler. Everybody kind of came together under the Electric Universe umbrella early on, and then kind of fractured off like a bunch of dendritic filaments. Let's see. NGC, damn, my second favorite song. NGC, you can pick the song, or I can throw something on, but I haven't played Light of the Moon, not in a long time. You're full of stitches, so no laughing until Friday. I'm sorry. Oh, right, you were telling me about that. Right? Gosh, I love your emails. They're just so amazing. And yeah. Let's see what else is going on. I see think for yourself. Looks like crystal plasma to me. Well, yeah, I love that. I think that makes a lot of sense. Um, uh, Gosh, a lot going on. Yeah, NGC, yeah, I hope you're feeling and healing better. I'm also glad to see you here. Think for yourself, crystal plasma, right? So, crystal plasma, if you think about what I was saying earlier in terms of, or just what I think in general, which is humans and all entities in our universe are very intense light frequency creatures that are basically all similar and slightly different. So you can have 8 billion people with a slight different energy signature and have an entirely different perspective on reality, right? Yet this is the proof in how, or at least for me, how we can start to think about, like, what is physical proof for how we can agree that a chair is a chair or a table is a table or so on and so forth. Like, nobody talks about this. I've listened to all the people about consciousness. I mean, pretty much everybody. And nobody even starts to come close to how the eyes work, how morphic resonance could work. They just don't look up Rupert Sheldrake. They don't look up Electric Universe. And if you're not thinking about how one, electricity governs the universe, how fields govern information and structure, then you're missing out on so much. And then I also think that if you don't know your theology and your religion, then you can't really figure out how to tie in religion and theology and belief and spirituality and all these ideas, concepts to physics. It's something we're really missing. Dream Me, that's what I wanted to play earlier. I dig that one. And Soulfire, I can do that too. Rune Thorson says Aristarchus is the key, but then again, I don't know, not my theory. Let's go back to Aristarchus for a second. I mean, the thing is, let's just note that Sinus Iridum has a hexagonal or polygonal nature to it. And that kind of goes back to the idea of crystals. So crystals are structured geometry, right? They can be hexagonal, dodecahedral. You have all these different polygonal shapes. So the idea is that why is something a hexagon or a pentagon or a diamond, or in this case a diamond or a parallelogram or let's come back here. Okay, so Aristarchus has so many things going on here. Again, like I said, how do we not have 20 documentaries, science documentaries about this? We have ghost hunters, we have UFO hunters, we have blah, 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 blah. Not a single documentary about, like, what the hell is going on with Aristarchus? Like, how is it formed? Why does it look this way? And so on and so forth. But let's just take in, the shape. The shape having sharp corners, right? Is this an impact crater? Right, that's the first thing. Like, is this whole thing something that was impacted and it left these very sharp corners? Or was this carved into the surface through electrical arc discharge, as suggested? I mean, I lean more, of course, obviously on the electric side, but you can take in all these ideas and think about it. But I think an important part here is, why do you have Aristarchus crater, the very bright white crater in the corner, actually on the corner and on the edge of this larger structure? Why not somewhere randomly in the middle of it, right? And why do we have this very recursive, when I say recursive, it just means found everywhere at all sizes. It's just like a fractal. When you zoom in, it just kind of creates the same shapes, only a little bit differently at different sizes. So you have diamonds, you have craters on the corners on the edge of larger structures. And then you have the dendritic nature, the snaking nature of Herodotus, also leading into Schroeder's Valley, or Vallis Scrotari. And I think that at least it warrants a discussion or a video or two with scientists debating and talking about it and making diagrams and having, live feed from the moon or pictures from LRO where they really look at Aristarchus and they spend time beyond just saying, scientists just believe that this is, remnants of a volcanic lava tube and one day we hope to go there. Okay, bye. I'm like, how is that, we know how that's science or that's public science, but here on TakeBackSpace we get to look right up close and see it for what it is, which is very structured geometry on the moon that we can look at from the top and identify with it, look at it, assess it, see ourselves in it, and learn from it in a way that isn't framed by academia and people who want to talk about really random questions like what happened a trillionth of a second after the Big Bang that nobody cares about. Nobody cares about that. People want to know, like, what the heck is going on with Aristarchus and why does it look that way? And how do we have diamonds in nature? All right, I'll shut up now. Let's see. I guess we'll never know. It'll be time for a song, but let me read these comments here. So, Think for Yourself says, your thoughts on Crow 777 lunar wave footage. Think for Yourself, yeah, so if you look at my playlists, actually, you'll see that I've captured lunar waves and Saturn waves and Jupiter waves. And what I think they are, I have two playlists, one which is my stuff and one which is lunar waves that are 10 other people's lunar waves. And I've talked to Crow. Crow's first show, his first podcast was I was his first guest on his podcast. Sorry, I'm getting it's a little late, so I'm stumbly, but yeah, right. His podcast, the first episode of his podcast, we talked about it, and I hadn't really figured out what I thought it was at the time, but I definitely didn't ascribe to the idea of, waters above, or this idea of firmament, or this idea of a sinister plot to hide things from us in terms of lunar wave, like a projection or anything like that. But I will say that what I actually think it is that it's a sonic boom. If you look up what happens after a bullet is fired or after an explosive is detonated or a supersonic jet flies through and breaks a sound barrier, there's something called a Schlieren effect, where it's a double kind of wave front, like a bubble that emanates like two thin layers, and it looks like exactly like what the lunar wave looks like. So on camera, I would imagine that if we had like micrometeorites or supersonic jets or ballistic tests that broke the sound barrier nearby, that we would get these kind of double plasma or double etheric, double air, double whatever you want to consider air being. You'd get these kind of double fronts of two waves crossing. And so I think it's something like that. It would make more sense than a holographic moon, but I haven't talked about it in a while, so I just indulged that. Let me know what you think. That's why everyone can capture it, because it's actually something happening in the sky. I captured one across Jupiter, which is crazy, and another person in Ireland also caught it with a different camera, with a different telescope in Ireland, and also caught a Jupiter wave, and it looked identical to mine. So I think it's one of these effects that, it seems to me that it's this kind of Schlieren effect that happens after after the sound barrier is broken. That seems the most logical. Let's see what else. Tetrapodum says, I think the fact that, I like this. I think the fact that most of craters imply an impact of 90 degrees, it is enough to think apart established rules. I have quite bright friends and academics that turn into Hungering feral cats when even confronted with the fact of electrical arc phenomenon in space. Yeah, totally. It's one of those things where it's very easy to dismiss because we've had this propagandistic narrative for so long about how, yes, there's electricity in space, but it's negligible. And it's been so powerful. It's like the cult of Einstein or the cult of whatever you want in science. There are these weird types. We can never go faster than the speed of light. Like somebody said that, and that's it. And now we have to live with that idea, and it's kind of this really ridiculous thing, right? Like we can advance in all these ways, but in terms of science, we have to always attribute a 200 year dead scientist who may or may not have been correct about what their assumptions were, their postulates were. Like, think about how poetic Carl Sagan sounded, but what he was saying is pretty absurd, you know? I mean, like, I don't know. A lot of the stuff, I could pick out certain quotes, but I don't want to rip on anyone. I think science, real science, is kind of replacing old science. That's why I feel like it's a little bit absurd to always reference science from 200 years ago. When cooking advances, clothing advances, we don't sit back and say, oh, that shirt, you know, that guy who made a shirt 200 years ago, let's think about his design. You know, that, yes, that baker, she, you know, in the 1700s, she really knew how to make a pizza. Let's go back and make it exactly that way. You know, yes, once in a while, but mostly we move things forward. And science, no, science got to go back and reference 200-year-old people, 500-year-old people. It's just nuts. Think for yourself says, well, the speed of light doesn't appear to be constant, so I'm not a fan of Einstein. So that's a great point. I mean, beyond being a fan or not a fan of Einstein, which I don't want to say I'm not a fan, because I'm not a fan or not a fan, but I think this idea, this cult of Einstein, where we can't discuss science without bringing this guy up and basically saying, he said this thing, and if you're doing anything in science, you can't do it without holding yourself up to this guy. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, how is that anything? How is that why do we have to abide by that? I think it's ridiculous. But in terms of the speed of light being variable, just imagine the fact that we live in a field of entropy, and this dark entropy, or this dark matter, or dark energy that we don't see, is not vibrating in a way that we can see it. So, for example, when lightning happens, before the lightning appears before our eyes, like the flash of lightning, the dendritic column of lightning, there's already a tube for this lightning to glow from, like a neon light or like a filament. That already exists. So the tube, the pre-existence of matter, of light, exists as our field. And the matter that we see is this illuminated matter. As soon as something is illuminated in terms of light, that means that it's wiggling, it's vibrating, it's emanating, it exists. As soon as it exists, it's a vibration. So I think that's really what's important here, is that the speed of light is a variable because the speed of light is based on something that is wiggling. There's no fixed thing in nature. If something is fixed, then it does not exist to us. Even what we perceive as fixed, like hard matter, like a table, is vibrating incredibly fast. That's why we can't put our fingers through it. So density is from vibration. Matter is vibration. If there's no vibration, there's no matter, and therefore the speed of light is based on a vibratory frequency, not on a fixed function, and therefore how do we have a speed limit? How is there a limit on something that is variable? Alright, time for a song and a drink here, because I know I'm getting like dry mouth. Wow, I mean, there's so much to look at on the moon, but I think, of course, there's always the somebody said it earlier, crystal plasma. I mean, crystals, the crystalline structure exists within our universe as fundamental geometry. That's what's so great, is that hexagons do exist in nature. And if you take it this step further, if you look at your eye sockets, you'll see that your eye sockets are two hexagons that are symmetric to one another along the bridge of the nose, which is a triangle, and under the nose is a reverse triangle, and then the mouth is kind of two triangles and then another trapezoid. And you see the face, our face, and the structure of all matter along the filaments is this geometric structure underlying everything, the so-called matrix. But it's hard to see because people don't believe there's anything around us and that we're separate. But field is not separate. Field is us, and we are field. And if I can remember the song... Can I remember the song? Yeah, there we go. Dream Me coming out. Alright, a little harmony wave and some Dream Me before that. I want to say what's up to Arum Vorax. What's going on? Is that the Dope Electric Vibe Tune channel? It is indeed, friend. So, alright, so Space Fam, it's super cloudy. I don't know. I'm just checking out. I'm hoping it's like, I'm checking it out, not checking out. I'm just seeing if it's going to get rainy. Nope, it's not. It's going to be okay, actually. It's going to be alright underneath the moon. There we go. Be back a little bit. Let's see. Nope. What a tease. What a tease. I don't know. It looks a little rainy, but not rainy. I don't know. Let's just hang out for a little bit longer. But yeah. It looks like it might clear. So I just want to say, NGC, that sounds awesome that you saw the comet, right? Got to see the sky last night for the first time, saw the comet. Did you see it through a telescope or binoculars or just naked eyes? That sounds so cool. I really want to see it, but I haven't been able to. I got to try harder. Made my 14-year wish. That's wonderful. Coming up on 2:40 over here. I think I'm going to hang out just a little bit longer, see if we can't get one more shot so I can talk a little bit about what? I talked about optics, I talked about field and memory. I didn't talk about memory. I always remember memory. We'll see. I'm going to try and stream tomorrow, but if I don't, I got to see y'all tonight. Mando, what's going on, Mando? Nice to see you. I'm sorry, I've just been waiting for this this wave of clouds to move through. I'm just going to let it sit here for a second while I talk. I was talking about something here just real quick about how the human body is a biological circuit and how we basically run, what was it, like about crystals, right? About Tetrapodum was talking about crystals. You know, the idea of crystals storing information, crystals of water, crystals inside cells, cells themselves, structures, you know, everything inside cells, the mitochondria, and then proteins fold in hexagonal structures. The recursive fractal nature of reality permeates recursively up and down through the human body and everywhere else, of course, but I think it's really important to note that because it's never talked about, but it's truly important. And then there was another comment, Think for Yourself was saying, how come no one wants to talk about the ether? Is it just because of relentless programming? People are told to ignore all the research about it. So I think it is one of the biggest secrets, of course, the electricity of the universe and the interconnectivity of things. However, there's an interesting take on it that I've talked about, but the idea that in order for the universe to actually work, you actually need 90% of the people to be ignorant to the truth of enlightenment, of self-actualization, self-realization, because that is the very nature of the geometry. And how I know that, or where I derive that from, is the fact that if you imagine the structure of the atom, the structure of the human and the biofield, the earth and the earth and its electrical fields, the sun and the heliosphere, and on from all levels. You have the point and you have the field. You have the apple core and you have the flesh, and on and on and on. I mean, it really is extreme. That's one of the things that you can look at reality and say that's something that is very constant. This structure, and if that structure is constant, yes, bring us back the Luna. Yes, yes, yes. Look at that. That structure is constant. What was I talking about? I think I lost my train of thought here. But yeah, memory, human biofield. Oh, right, the fact that people need to be ignorant in order for the system to work. It's a very, it's not one of these things that you naturally tend to think of. You always want to think of, we tend to think of everyone needs to be awakened or everyone needs to become enlightened in order for things to be fixed. But if you think about it, the structure, like I was saying, of the atom implies a kind of 10% to 90% split. So how much of the human body do you see in relation to our human biofield? Our human biofield, if true, is something to the effect of, 30 feet around our human body in a bubble. So our energetic field is much bigger in terms of space, time, if you want to call it that, than our actual physical body. And Earth is the same thing. The actual sphere of Earth is tiny compared to its giant magnetic fields that extend out into space. And the apple core, the seeds are tiny compared to the amount of flesh of an apple. And the atomic structure, the nucleus is tiny compared to the electron shells. So that structure is recursive and foundational throughout everything. And that relationship is kind of a 10-90 or 20-80 or 1 to 99% balance of black against white. So stars against the night sky, the human against the background, etc., etc. You take that idea to its extremities, pun unintended, and you realize that you have a template, a structure for everything, that everything that can exist exists in relation, in a contrast. So that's a long way of saying that 90% of people need to be sheeple in order for 10% of people to be enlightened. The very structure of our reality, the way it exists, and it implies that 90% of people have to not be awakened, so to speak, in order for the system to work. It seems like that is one of these answers that came to me, or that I derived, that I think if you really consider it, it might be a way to kind of explain why. Imagine you had a world where everyone was enlightened, everyone knew they were God, then there would be no game. If everybody knew they were the outcome of the end, they wouldn't play the game. Alan Watts was the one that pointed that out, and it makes perfect sense as to why. It's why we live. We live for the surprise of not knowing the end of the game, or not knowing how a dance will be, because every dance is different, every game is different. So if everyone knew they were God, then we would know the outcome of every single game, and therefore we wouldn't play. And so that is a way to look at it. It's not maybe the answer for everyone, of course, because the answer itself implies that many people will hear this answer and will directly not believe it. So that's actually what it implies. It implies that I can tell you the exact truth of the entire thing, and because the structure of the universe is the way it is, you'll just flat out not believe it. It doesn't mean that I have to be right. It just means, like, let's say I am right or wrong. Most people will just abjectly deny or dismiss information in order to fulfill the structure of the universe. NGC says, stay ignorant, it's easier. I mean, that's kind of, ignorance is bliss is not untrue in some ways. So I'm waiting here for our Luna. Sorry for the black screen, but NGC says, poor Petra's having cataract issues. I wonder what is happening with her optics. I'm so sorry. My neighbor too. My neighbor's having a tough time with our pup. Little old guy. He's like 14 years old. Little chihuahua. Mando, thanks so much. I when you came up earlier, like, it was hidden under the icon. Just love your show. Thank you. Appreciate it. Alright, I don't know. Is it super clouded? Let me check one more time here. I'm going to put a song, and I'll be right back. What song will I put? I will put a song. I shall return.
Do you know why I've been beaten from the heart? I know, no lie. I've been thinking about you all night. Why? No why. I've been waiting for your white light. No why. I've been thinking that you should be mine. So call me up, and let's get down, 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 down. So call me up, and let's get down, 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 down. Oh, you send me messages across the cosmic network, and you send me pictures from across the astral plane, and you send me cryptic kisses across the matching network. somebody, somebody loves, somebody loves somebody, somebody loves, somebody loves. Je t'attends, mon amour insensuel, assis dans mon canapé ciment, achetant la éternelle, avec on son billet. Je suis la même, tout en avant l'année chaque jour. Je t'attends, mon amour, avec les mecs sans agréver. Et c'est mon âme magnétique, c'est l'amour magnétique, c'est mon amour magnifique. Cool running.
I guess I didn't mute my mic. Sorry if that sounded all goofy because I was walking around, but that's how it goes. Okay. So I realized the scope got moved a little bit, so I had to get back to the alignment. 2:55 a.m. here. Gold in the atmosphere from volcanoes. Gosh, what's going on with the clowns, NGC? Clown, clown, clown? Or is that like a weird emoji thing? Let's see what's going on. That's a lot to read, I guess. All right, so let me wrap up some thoughts here. So shouting out Jeffrey Walensky, of course, stellar metamorphosis, the idea that planets are the centers of stars. I was talking about Rupert Sheldrake, morphic resonance, and how our eyes work. Super important. Talking about intelligent design from the perspective of being the God that does the intelligent designing and not another entity. I was talking about how everybody who knows Jeffrey Walensky, everybody who knows each other in the YouTube alternative science community doesn't want to talk to each other. Although I will say Demystify has had a lot of the people on. There's something about it. It's just so weird how people like the really, I don't know, I guess they've even had Rupert Sheldrake on, but I just don't understand why they don't have Jeffrey on. You know, no one guest is going to satisfy ultimately, because for me it has to be a derived culmination of all the ideas. That's what I share here. So, you know, even if they did go completely into stellar metamorphosis, you know, even Jeffrey has his own hang-ups and certain things that I disagree with about his ideas. So that's really... Oh, Angie C. trying to rhyme with down, 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 clown, clown, clown. God, I guess I'm slow. I'm super slow. I didn't get that. Clown, clown, clown. All right. Yeah. So I was saying, and then just now I was talking about this idea of the apple and the 90-10 split, and how our universe really culturally and emotionally and pretty much in every single way embodies this contrast. So 10 against the 90. And that's why, interestingly, to me, it also answers not just why most people won't be enlightened, or won't be entirely enlightened, because it also answers why we have media and war and propaganda. Why does that exist at all in our reality? You know, people talk about it from a philosophical vantage point, but if you think about it from physics and biology and structure of reality, why do we have propaganda and news and currency and all this stuff? A lot of people complain about it, but nobody really tries to answer why physically and biologically and karmically we have currency, money, ethics, morality, etc. And if you try and answer it, you start to realize because it's inherently found in the structure of our reality. Our reality implies needing to express itself culturally, symbolically, religiously, linguistically, in all these different ways, in order to actually exist. So the answer of why we exist is to exist. It really writes itself. I don't know. I mean, I used to laugh at philosophical thinking of that nature until you realize that, of course, that's the only possible reason you would do something, is to do something. Because you know, if you do it for a goal, that goal is never the last goal. Even when you die, it's not the last goal. Okay, so how do we tie it all up into a bundle? Which is, we got Luna here. Whoa, no, come back. Retournez avec la lune. So yeah, I realized, thinking about when I wasn't, I haven't been on for a while, but I think about, I haven't talked about hexagons on the moon in a long time. And nobody really wants to talk about that. I watch a lot of science stuff, and nobody seems to talk about why Mare Crisium looks the way it does, and why Sea of Serenity and Sea of Tranquility look like two hexagons that are bound by symmetry. In fact, it's a pentagon against a hexagon, so a 5 into a 6. And on and on and on. The structure of the moon, at least, what's interesting is that I've gotten to a place where I think about it on this level, but it is thanks to Thunderbolt's project introducing me to you know, that deep dive about the moon, Herodotus, Aristarchus, Ralph Jurgens. So Thunderbolts has done wonders for a lot of us. Let's see. Let's see. Clown obviously doesn't work. It's okay. It was an attempt. Yeah, the game of contrast is a whole thing where you tie in metaphysics to physics. I don't know, there's a lot of ideas. I tend to want to do shows that could be 10 hours long if I just touched on every topic, but I think it's just crazy how we have so many different people out there trying to come up with the theory of everything, and yet they're so limited and are not willing to come up with anything concrete at all. But we survive another day to stream the moon and to share some vibes. So let's do that. A couple more here. What song? It's going to be a surprise. It's going to be a surprise.
There's some place known where the last of fear take your breath, moving strong, see what's brighter. Oh, see what's brighter. Oh.
the moon. And we got some good skies, baby. Clearing up, baby. No. Anyway, pretty fun. Thanks, NGC. Australis is pretty cool the way the Terminator is only on the top left. Yeah, I want it to clear up so we can kind of see some of the, I want to say, is it Grimaldi? I think it's Grimaldi, but maybe that's just the pizza place in New York. Let's play some more songs here. Again, I don't know, I feel like there's so many things to say, but I end up doing these shows, I talk about all these things, and nothing really changes, that's the thing. Nothing really changes. But we still ride, and that's the point. The point is we keep dancing. So what song comes next? Probably a classic, but I want to do something different. We haven't played this one in a while.
I was stolen by the rock star. Don't know what they're killing for. Staring up at the familiar lights, enormous. Don't make me pay the cost. Don't wanna live another day, of course. But what does it all? Is it all just
Alright, that was an oldie. Trying to Forgive. We got a little Luna peeking out, I think. One more Cloud Passage. I think we'll get a final view here before I wrap it up. What song shall we play? I'm going to play Not So Far. NGC, I got you. Donald Yates, I see you. Good morning. Full pink moon. Yeah, we're right on the cusp of the full moon, and that's why I kind of got on tonight. I was sitting on the porch, and Luna was looking so beautiful, and I thought this was the time to come through like I do. So here we go. We got Luna, and we got Not So Far. A few more songs here. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. It's awesome to see you, Space Fam, as always. No AI here, just real space, real songs. Request a tune if you'd like, or two. Let's go.
Ooh, I saw you on the train. It's 9 o'clock. Deep down, I thought you were so indestructible, with perfect beauty underneath. I was driven to slightly smile and lie by your feet. Stability is rocking, it's stability, zipping up interchangeably, iteration upon iteration. I saw you past the shadow, it was 12 o'clock. Oh baby, I don't know, but maybe we could steal a show. Don't mean the constant piece of love, don't hinge on nothing above. You find yourself responsible for all we become. Hey, even when we claim the game that we play, don't fret, it's only tough 'cause we choose to play. I'm thinking of something open, eruption strung on your song, so feel like you notice a person. So I can be there. That's all I can. Yeah, oh yeah. Taking a path so I can be there. So yeah, oh yeah. Taking a path so I can be there. So I
That's so funny. Whale playing guitar, caterpillar shredder. So funny, NGC. I'm trying not to choke over here. Alright, so I know not what the moon does. We are at the whim of the sky. But it's like we never left. It's like we're always here. Oh yeah. Alright. I was listening to some of the old songs today, actually thinking, like, gosh, I should go back and add a million layers to them. Like this one. Ooh, that's loud. That is loud. Sorry about that. I'll groove on this one for a second. Alright, friends, I think it might be time. I'm getting a little sleepy here, and I gotta put everything away. So I'm gonna call it a night, and maybe I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully. I'll kind of have that energy, and we'll get on for the full moon. If not, you'll see me when you see me. But know that I appreciate you. NGC, I'm so glad you joined us this time. Astralis, as always, awesome energy. Everybody, such great energy and vibes. It's immaculate in here, as they say. Copper Trops, and everybody, really appreciate y'all. So yeah, talked a lot today, but it's the same topics. I mean, I don't mean to make them, to diminish them at all. There's so much to say, and I think at some point I'll put them all into several documentaries. But from time to time, it's nice to share them live with y'all and spread the word about some of the more important questions, like how we actually exist and do things. So thanks for listening to me ramble, and also sharing your ideas and thoughts. Everybody like Tetrapodum and what is it, Think, and everyone else. All right, everybody, stay well. I'll catch you really soon. Have a wonderful day or night wherever you are. This is your captain signing off on another amazing space journey. Be well.